Hi, I'm Phil from the Soundproofing store, and today we're talking about our Pro Sound SoundMats. Now, the SoundMat 2 Plus and the SoundMat 3 Plus are fantastic flooring solutions for reducing both airborne and impact noise on either timber or concrete floors. SoundMats are very thin, they're a tested and proven solution. They're really simple to install, either by a DIYer or a local tradesperson. And in fact, over 80% of our SoundMat customers install the SoundMats themselves. So, if we take a closer look, the most noticeable difference between the SoundMat 2 Plus and the SoundMat 3 Plus is obviously the thickness and also the number of layers. So the SoundMat 2 Plus is 12 millimeters thick and it's made up of 2 layers. Now, the layer on the top is a 3 millimeter mass loaded vinyl. And that's basically a very heavy, very dense rubber that's designed to add a lot more mass and a lot more density to the floor. Because it's that mass that creates a barrier across the floor to block sound from physically being able to pass through it. Now, the mass loaded vinyl is then bonded onto a 9 millimeter closed cell foam. And the foam is there, so when you step on it or you have other impacts like dropping items and things land on top, the foam will slightly compress to cushion that impact and that footfall, but in a way that it's dense enough that it doesn't completely crush, it holds the weight, and then it springs back again. And that reduces all that impact noise and heavy footfall on the floor. Now, a couple of other benefits of using closed cell foam. A lot of other similar flooring solutions use what we call a chip foam. And chip foam is a little bit more inconsistent because it's made up of lots of bits of different types of foam. Now, closed cell foam is going to be the same throughout the entire product, giving us a good, consistent performance throughout the entire floor. And one other small benefit as well is that closed cell foam doesn't absorb water. So in household situations where there may be some risk of spillages or small water leaks, this foam is not going to absorb that water and it's not going to get damaged. So it's perfect for normal everyday living. Now, in comparison, we've got our SoundMat 3 Plus. Now, this is basically the exact same layers of a 3 millimeter mass loaded vinyl on the top, the 9 mil closed cell foam, but the benefit is it has that third layer, which is another layer of 3 millimeter mass loaded vinyl. So it has a lot more mass and therefore reduces a much higher level of airborne sounds. So technically, both these mats have a very similar performance at reducing impact noise because they've both got that same layer of closed cell foam in the middle. However, in the real world, it is a little more complex. And this is because when an impact is created, an airborne sound is also heard. Now, a really good example of that is when you clap your hands together. And if you clap your hands nice and hard, the shock wave and the vibration that you feel traveling up your arms, that is the impact vibration. And that's the same as when you walk on a floor, the vibration that travels down through the floor and through the joists and through the ceiling is the same. That's that impact vibration. But what your ears hear is the airborne sound given off by the impact. And the airborne sound travels through the air to your ears. Therefore, the more airborne sound that the system reduces, the better it's going to perform for impact as well. So this means to get the best results for impact reduction, you also want to reduce as much airborne sound as you can, as well as cushioning the impact. So, in what situation would you use SoundMats? Now, because the SoundMats are very thin and very simple to install, the most common use of SoundMats is in domestic homes, particularly for people living in flats or apartments with noise between neighbours above and below, and also floors within houses, for example, separating bedrooms upstairs from living spaces below. Now, SoundMats are ideal for reducing unwanted household levels of noise, such as footfall on the floor, TV noise, general conversation style airborne noise. If you're struggling with more excessive volumes, then you may need to look to upgrade to an even higher performing system. So do get in touch and we can help advise. SoundMats can also be used by developers needing to meet party building regulations. SoundMats are a really great choice for areas where carpets will be installed as your final floor finish. And that's because they act like a luxury underlay and they'll feel like a luxury underlay. So carpet can just be installed straight on top, taking away the need to install another underlay on top, which of course is going to save a bit of cost and also some floor height. Now, although SoundMats are ideal for carpet finishes, other floor finishes can be installed on top. Now, because the SoundMats are designed to compress underfoot, if you are going to put a harder layer on top, like vinyls and tiles and such, we would recommend to put a stabilizing layer on top. Now, this is just to protect your final floor finish. So if you are thinking about using finishes like vinyls, laminates, tiles and such, an alternative solution would be to use our ProSound Reverso SoundMat. And this is very similar and has the same soundproofing capabilities as the SoundMat 3 Plus, but we've replaced the mass-loaded vinyl layer on the top with a 6mm cement fiber board. This is very, very stable and means that you can install those laminates and vinyls and such straight on top without needing a stabilizing layer. So hopefully this has given you a useful overview. SoundMat 3 Plus and SoundMat 2 Plus are a tested and proven solution for unwanted domestic noise on both concrete or timber floors. They're very, very thin, they're extremely simple to install and perfect for carpet finishes, although other finishes can be used on top. If you're unsure of which SoundMat is best for your individual situation, then as ever, our advice is always speak to an expert, pick up the phone, give us a call. Whatever your question, whether it's floors, ceilings, walls, we're here to help.